Greetings, my friends. I want to talk to you about a couple of things today. We're going to start by talking about the psychic phase, then we're going to talk about some of the blood angels that are returning on Made to Order this week, which is very aptly timed, just a few weeks before the release of 10th edition. So let's get right into it. So yeah, if you've been living under a rock, you will know now there is no psychic phase in 10th edition. And I just want to have a quick look at this new librarian and some of the rules around him and what we know. For the record, I think this librarian is one of the coolest models that I've ever seen. If they keep doing this for Space Marines and giving them unique pieces like this, I'm very excited about what the future holds. I would like to see more true scale vanilla squads, and what I mean by that is I don't necessarily want to have to buy 30 Sanguinary Guard in a 1-hour. What I would like to see is Primaris side Sanguinary Guard that you can either mix and match your own models, kind of like what you can do with these Terminators. I think this is an awesome direction in that it lets people that have spent time and money and investment in those Terminators keep the ones they like, and like me, I'm probably going to get 2 more squads of them, so of course I'll have some of the new ones. Maybe over time I'll want all the new ones, but this is a great move for the Warhammer community to not just throw away the old Terminators. I love this. And let's talk about this new Terminator's profile. So, the main thing to think about here was Terminators used to move 5, that hasn't changed, but now they're toughness 5 and a built-in 4-up invuln. So if we think about this librarian previously, he would have been on a 5-up invuln in Terminator armor, and he would have been on toughness 4. So potentially, against small arms fire, these guys are going to be a ton more resilient. The combi weapon is an interesting change as well. Combi weapons have kind of become maybe one profile. We haven't seen, and I could be wrong here, but we haven't specifically seen, right? Like a combi flame or a combi melta using the new rule set here. So combi weapons, I think, are a brand new thing. And all combi weapons may share the same profile. Don't quote me on that, but it sounds like that might be what we can get. Anyway, we know the psychic phase is gone, and psychic attacks are now part of just like your shooting phase, or they're an ability. So this Terminator Librarian, he can join a unit of, I imagine, of Terminators. A full list of what he can join we don't know yet. So while this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have a feel no pain, and it's a 4-up against all psychic attacks. So in some ways, having Psychers potentially we've lost the ability to deny, but if you've got a unit like this that can just join a squad and make them a lot more durable against psychic, I think this is actually kind of interesting. This might actually remove everybody typically in Marine armies runs minimum size units. There might be an argument here to run a big 10-man block of Terminators if the whole thing has a 4-up invuln against psychic attacks, or a 4-up feel no pain against psychic attacks, I guess, because that could be very, very strong into certain armies. This Psyker, however, only appears to have the ability to smite. His other ability, which is a psychic ability, is while this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in this unit have sustained hits 1. Sustained hits means you burst on 6s. So if you're a Terminator squad led by the Terminator Librarian, both, I guess, melee and ranged, you are bursting 6s into additional hits. That's what sustained hits means. So the core changes here are same amount of wounds, 1 more toughness, better invulnerable save, and then smite. There's 2 profiles for smite. Both are 24 inches, so smite has additional range. D6 hits. You've got hitting on 3-up, strength 5 minus 1 d3 damage, or you've got hitting on 3-up, strength 6 minus 2 d3 damage. Now, both of these have psychic in their profile. We don't actually really know what psychic has. I did dig around, and I don't know what psychic means. It's important to note that the force weapon also has psychic in the profile, and it does look like, you know, before you could take a force sword, a force axe, a force staff, and they all had different profiles. It seems like they have been normalized too, just into like a standard force weapon. So if you do the focus witchfire, which I guess is basically like trying to super smite, you can do devastating wounds, which would be mortals on rolls of 6 to wound. You become hazardous, which I imagine means maybe something like if you miss on a 1, you maybe do a mortal to yourself or something. We don't know what hazardous means yet, and we don't know what psychic means yet. Psychic, if I had to guess, I feel like psychic's maybe not going to be able to be modified like up or down, right? So like if you're on a 3-up ballistic skill, you're always going to be on a 3-up ballistic skill. But who knows? Probably what typically has been happening is I will make this video on a Tuesday, I will stream on a Wednesday, I will maybe do my podcast on a Thursday, and then by the time the video comes out on Friday, it'll be wrong. They'll have told us what psychic, and someone will handily tell me in the comments that I'm an idiot and I haven't been keeping up with the with the meta stuff. But that's where we're at. So I like this psyker in some ways. However, I'm a little worried about the lack of customization in terms of powers. So we're going to have to see how powers actually work out. I noticed that the Orc Psyker that they showed basically showed like he had the jump power, the jump. I know some of the Eldar Psykers have been showing different abilities that they get. It could also mean that there might be like more flavour in Psykers. For example, like who knows what a Librarian Dreadnought will get? Who knows what Mephiston will get? But does it mean there'll be only one build for those characters? That's potentially a thing now. You would imagine like a Librarian in Terminator armor, you know, giving Terminators sustained hits, giving Terminators feel no pain against mortals, or feel no pain against psychic attacks, which typically are, I guess they're not mortals, right? So a psychic attack now, if you got smited on the Terminators, you would be saving on 3s, right? Because they're -1 and a Terminator's on a 2-up save. And then once you fail those 3-up saves against a smite, you would then have a 4-up against the actual damage as well. I guess you would also have that 4-up if they did a focus smite and they did devastating wounds. So this character is very defensive based. Makes sense, he's in Terminator armor. But I think this might open up some real interesting possibilities. I am also working on a video where I'm going to break down all the data sheets and everything we know about the Leviathan box, and I'm going to release it hopefully the weekend before it comes out so that you can know exactly whether you should be getting up early to get the pre-order. In the interim, if you are enjoying this video, then please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. It does mean a lot to me. I do really appreciate all the support you guys give me. And let's talk about some of these new made-to-order returns and what that could mean for the future of Blood Angels, especially going into 10th edition, where they said that basically if a unit does not have a data sheet, or if the unit does not have a model that they sell, there's potentially a chance that it's not getting a data sheet. So for me, the unit that seems to spring to mind that could be a problem or could be an issue would be our old Chicken Dreadnought with the double las cannon and the missile launcher. That could basically be getting replaced by the Ballistus Dreadnought. Now, the day after this video comes out, they got some new Space Marine heroes to order, one of which is a really interesting model. This is the Primaris Company Champion. He never got a data sheet in 9th edition. I think he got a Legends data sheet, but he never sort of got made canon, and he was only ever available and made to order, like he is now. And what's interesting about him is he kind of feels like he could fit straight into a Blade Guard veteran squad. I guess like if you think of there's one of those made to order Blade Guards with a shield on his back, this guy could almost replace him identically. I don't know, this is a really interesting model. I think it's a cool looking model. I like the helmet. I don't think we've seen a Primaris helmet like this with the laurel wreath thing on it before. And it's going on made to order tomorrow, which would be, so he's on made to order for like 9 days, from like the 20th of May through to the 29th. What else is going on made to order is really interesting is we're getting our Blood Angels Terminator Captain back. I'd previously speculated that this character was retired because of the new Terminator armor. So it's very interesting that this character is back. Corbolo is back. I don't really know why. I guess if you don't have Corbolo and you want one, I guess now would be the time. So is Tycho. I feel like there is a chance Corbolo might become Primaris. If he does, he's only ever going to be competitive if he gets a jump pack. So I guess we'll see. I don't know what's happening with Corbolo. I think Tycho, I very much doubt he's coming back as Primaris. If you want a Tycho for your Legends collection, I guess now is the time as well. Seth and the Flesh Tear shoulder pads are around. I thought it was a bit strange that they retired the Flesh Tear shoulder pads. Like, I can't see them a good reason for them retiring them anyway. But I guess if you are a Flesh Tearers player and you want the shoulder pads, now would be the time to buy a boatload of them, or now would be the time to buy Seth. I had thought that we might have seen a Primaris Seth. I really did. I don't know. I feel like he doesn't have a jump pack. He's probably not going to get one, and he's just going to be a Primaris Seth. A lot of people have made a Primaris Seth conversion. I think you can do that. If you have if you have an Eviscerator or something. But yeah, all 4 of these guys coming back, plus the shoulder pads, is kind of interesting. My speculation for this was that these guys were getting retired, like Seth, the Captain, and Corbolo, because they would be getting a Primaris model. And that could still happen. Maybe this is them shifting the last of their stock, and then those guys won't come back again. Tycho is dead. He has been dead for forever. I don't know why he would get a Primaris model. And I think what we can agree on, as much as some people don't like Primaris, over time, every single character will become Primaris. They might try and lose some of that keyword ambiguity and just have them like true scale. So like we will get a true scale Corbolo, we will get a true scale Seth, which is basically the Primaris size version. How they word that, I'm not sure, but I think that will happen to every character. So unless Tycho's getting a retcon, and if Tycho gets a retcon, I feel like they can't retcon Tycho and give him a larger model. If they do, then they may as well say, well, Sanguinius can get a retcon as well. So maybe we can hold out our hope for that. There's a few other, I was going to say, inconsequential characters. For me, anyway, they're inconsequential. Maybe they're important for you. And that's kind of what they've said is going to be on Made to Order this next week. I think for me, I own all of these except Seth. So a good part of me thinks I want the company champion, the Primaris champion. I'd be surprised if the Primaris champion doesn't get rules. Maybe this is like a prelude to he will get rules. Because they don't sell a firstborn company champion anymore, right? Like that's not something they sell. So arguably that might not be a kit that gets sold. If we really want to break it down, they don't sell like... That's why... They made it confusing, right? Because they said if models don't have, if we don't sell the models, they're unlikely to get a data sheet, right? They haven't sold captains with jump packs for a while. They haven't sold lieutenants with jump packs for a while. Are they going to discontinue all the captains and lieutenants with jump packs? I feel that's unlikely. The one that I think they're going to discontinue for sure is that Chicken Dreadnought with the double las cannon and the missile launcher. I think they might get rid of the captain on a bike because they haven't sold that for forever. Maybe the only one that will remain is like the White Scars cannon on a bike. It's tough. It's tough to put. It's a hard bet to go on, right? Like I don't have the answers. I'm planning. A few people ask me like, how quick will I get content running for 10th edition? And I am planning to be there day one. For 10th edition, I am planning to cover as much as possible, be it tactics videos, be it anything that's going to be valuable to Blood Angels players to help us basically win games and get the best we can out of our army. So I will be here from day one, from 10th edition. So if you think my content is valuable and that's something you want to see, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. I think it might be worth trying to pick up this guy because I feel like he probably will get a data sheet in 10th edition. It's a bit strange that they're putting him on Made to Order, but I think he could also drop into a Blade Guard force. He could also be in a Land Raider now. And I think Land Raiders plus Blade Guard are going to be a very interesting combination. I think Terminators could be a really interesting combination as well, especially if there's ways like we just saw earlier in this video to give Terminators like a 4-up Feel No Pain against psychic attacks and give them bursting 6s all the time, both in shooting and in melee. Power Fists are going to be quite good now, because essentially they're basically the same profile as a Thunderhammer. So, and Terminators don't need to take a Storm Shield to get 4-up invuln save anymore. So, everything is changing. I'll be here. I'll be covering it all. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. If you've got any questions, you can leave them in the comments down below. I do answer every comment that comes on the channel. There'll be a few more weeks now before we get 10th edition, and there's going to be so much to talk about, so much to dive into. I'm excited as all hell. If you want to catch up on a more broad picture, remember I am part of the 3 Grots podcast, and we have videos coming out covering all the new information as well, and we will be picking up a bit of steam going into 10th edition too, so please consider searching for 3 Grots. I'll put a link in the video description this week so you can check out the podcast if you want to stay up to date on everything Warhammer related. Thanks again. I'll catch you in the next one. By the blood are we made strong. Peace.